So perhaps April will have a feel of this for you. And given that your overall energy card is the Ace of Pentacles, which actually represents fairly positive impetus or energies or beginnings to do with possibly finances and material things that could be on your mind. It doesn't just have to represent finances, it can represent the things that you purchase with your money, such as your mortgages or homes or trips or cars or things along those lines as well. One wand, one sword, no major arcanas. It feels as though April for you might be not smooth necessarily, but kind of more in control from your end. It might be as if you're controlling the factors a little bit more. Often when the major arcana cards come in, you'll know that I talk about the fact that it's more universal energies that are propelling certain events or circumstances into our lives, and that often they're karmically related and there's very little we can do to change it or alter it. But when we just have these the minor arcana cards turn up, it feels as though we possibly have a little bit more control over the events that take place. Anyhow, let's start with the first card for the first week of April, and this is the King of Pentacles. Now, he is often associated with the earth sign energies as well, so that's our Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo energies. And it may be somebody you know, it may be it's a family member or a work person or even a friend. Oftentimes the king is a slightly older person, so we're not talking about someone in their youthful years here, and they can be very well established. He seems to be the authority on money matters, so he could even be someone like a bank manager or a person who might be giving you information, or it could be, as I say, job related. He could be a prospective employer for you as well, or he could be your employer. Generally, he's considered a good omen to have turn up in a reading, and he's a fairly positive person. He's very like the earth sign energies, calm, reliable. You could go to him to talk to him about issues or matters or problems that might be arising. He seems as though he's the backbone of a lot of things that can be held together. He can be the diplomat or the person that you could go to mediator as such. So whether or not there are any of these energies that might be cropping up in that first week of April for you Geminis, there's if there are any sorts of mediations or diplomacy or talks, he is a good sign, and it would feel as though positive outcome with caution. You know, when you go into things with all your T's dotted and your T's crossed and your I's dotted, that's the way to make progress, to get ahead, rather than going there barging, all guns blazing. Oftentimes when we think about our steps and we do it all strategically and correctly, we'll make more headway. So the first month of April feels like a positive feeling for you all. The next card, the Three of Pentacles, we're still in this whole financial feel. I don't know whether you guys might be getting a bit of a windfall even in April. There's possibly this that could be coming, which is what this ace suggests, and it's interesting that it's sitting over basically these two cards. So you might be in for an increase somehow in your finances, whether it be some extra work that you get that you hadn't anticipated on, or someone paying up some money that they perhaps had said they would pay later in the year and they pay it earlier. Generally quite positive feeling here around your money. And the Three of Pentacles is often about group, working together as a group, so producing something maybe even over a period of time that comes together and flows and it reaches its apex, and you can either deliver it to someone, or it becomes a finished project, or it gets noticed by someone for its worth or its usefulness. It's often too about even academia, so finishing university studies or handing something in and getting the acclaim or award for it. It's considered a positive card, as I say, and often working with people is how it has this feeling of again, slow and steady is the way. Just if any of you are at a position where you're wondering how you're either going to make ends meet, or where the next job is coming from, or where your next idea is coming from, this is about cooperation, patience, and the determination to keep things going until there is an answer in sight. The card has a feeling of sort of greyness, it hasn't got this beautiful yellow background, but it has a grey energy to it, which is to me more about the mind and the thinking process of any project, and that eventually with patience and sticking to your guns, that the dividend pays off, and that is what this card suggests. So whether or not you're already at that stage that the dividends are working for you, or whether they're coming, it's important to know that when you keep going and you don't give up, that is really the only way that you will get there. Giving up leads us to nothing in the end. Now, if we come to the latter part of April, these two cards here, they seem very similar to me, although in many ways they're the complete opposite paradigm, because we have this beautiful bright blue, but we have these rigid rod-like energies roaring in, and over here we have these rigid energies again. So there's a message there in the card, and the fact that this is an 8 and this is a 9, they're working towards the end of some sort of cycle. Now, this can be about new creative thoughts and energies coming in, and quite fast and quite speedy. And it can also indicate travel. It's also a card known about travel, and often air travel, because it has that feeling of speed or pace to it. So some of you might be considering travelling, or even ending up travelling in the month of April, and it could be a little bit unexpected because it could be quite sudden. It's a positive card, but it often indicates the change, and changes can create anxiety or tension, because we're creatures of habit, is what I often say. And some of us have a certain degree of fear around change, because basically we're unsure of where it's going, or how to react, or who it might bring in our lives, or who we might lose in our lives. So I think of it as a positive card, but as I say, it definitely creates waves, I think, as a way to pass across the energy that this card exudes. Now, if we come over here to this final week, which is right next to it, and these rods are pointing at these swords, and this person sitting in the bed holding his head in sort of angst is the best way, or anxiety. So there's a possibility that some change that's coming in that latter part of April leads you to this point where you're sort of either going, oh my God, I just don't really know which way to go, or how to deal with the situations that are cropping up. But often it's our own fear that prevents us from seeing the other side of this card, because that's exactly what is there. There is always another side. And sometimes this card also leads or suggests insomnia, interestingly enough. So some of you may actually have sleeping issues in and around April. And that wouldn't surprise me, because we have a lunar eclipse in March, and we have a solar eclipse in April. And these can affect people at very deep levels. And they're quite strong moon and planet alignments as well. So we travel through fairly intense times at the moment on our planet, and with all our astrology that is occurring. So a lot of people are experiencing upheavals, is probably a way of wording it. The upheavals are part of who we are. There's no way that we can actually hide from the changes that come in our life, because if we hide from them, then we're hiding from ourselves, and we're hiding from our true direction and the path that we're going in. So when cards like this turn up, it's just kind of a message to look at what it is that's worrying you. And again, sometimes it can be night related, and literally when you're in bed. So it could be when you go to bed at night, your mind won't turn off, and all these thoughts and worries or tensions come spilling in. And ways of dealing with that are meditation, or uplifting positive practices such as yoga, or calming physical activities, or breathing activities. In particular, breathing is very, very important. Making sure that your body is working, flowing well, with all your chakra energy points open. Maybe some chiropractor work can be recommended when this turns up, because I think of issues to do with the back, especially this mid-thoracic area here and the neck. So there could be something that could help you in that area, because there could be some headaches involved when you feel this tension and anxiety. And often when we get pains like that, like a back pain or a neck pain or headaches, they can be brought about through emotional causes. And so it would pay for us to learn to say to ourselves, what is stressing me? What do I think could be creating this pain in my back, or the pain in my ass, literally? So we can sometimes resolve our physical pains through our inner thought processes and addressing our emotional stresses, because they all inevitably tie up. We're not just a physical body, we are an emotional, spiritual, and physical body, if you like. All of the energies unite and they accumulate for us to see as humans in the physical space. But there's much more to us than that. And so at every layer, we need to be able to address it and meet the needs and requirements of that. So I've kind of addressed your overall energy card, which will be here for the whole month of April. And we definitely feel this feeling of pentacles, of finances or monetary related matters, or materialist, if you like, related matters. So something to do with your earth grounding part of your life, being here on the planet in the material world, will be playing quite a part for you in April. But it's a beautiful positive card. It suggests new ideas coming. I've talked about the fact that you might work together with people. There could be some project that's formed that you work together as a team. It's still maybe ideas are forming in your mind, or something's going to be possibly handed to you in bits and pieces that you have to piece together. But it is a good positive omen, and it's certainly one that I know a lot of people will look forward to seeing. And the other thing I say is visualize success in this area. Visualize that gold coin being handed to you and opening up pathways of positivity in your financial sector. So anyhow, Gemini, that's actually a nice reading. I'm now going to look at the high vibrational energy card for you. So here we have the Angel of Atlantis high vibrational energy cards, shuffling them a little bit. And since I always think of Gemini as being in the 5th and 6th month of the year, so we'll pick the higher of those numbers, and I shall select your card from the 6th card from the top. So that's how we're going to do that. So Gemini, Benediction Gabriel is your energy for the month of April. And I guess I hadn't mentioned this during the reading, but of course April, if you are a Christian believer at all, or if you are aware of the Christian faith, April is the month of Easter this year, or Easter falls at the very beginning of April. And I imagine that a lot of Christians will go through the process of benediction at some point. Now, I'm not a particularly religious person, and I don't know if other faiths have benediction in their particular religious beliefs or not, but it doesn't surprise me that it's turned up for the month of April. Benediction, when I read it from the booklet, is, or the energies of Gabriel say that Gabriel wishes you to know that many blessings are sent to you from the angelic kingdoms. Simply yield to this, don't resist, just let go. The joy and love you will receive as flow directly from the source will surpass anything else you may experience. These feelings are the virtues that will always be received in the holy instant of benediction. The angel's service is to be a loving conduit for the divine, lifting away any challenge you may experience. Fear makes us unaware of the angels. Surrender the grip of fear and your blessings will accrue. So as we saw in a little bit towards the end of your April energies there may have been a little bit of fear about change or uncertainty or anxiety. And this beautiful energy is coming in for you to say, no, just let it go and be in the gift of love and light in particular, because this is the gift of pure white light of protection. And know that you are being surrounded by positivity and have that faith to walk forward and not be worried. So I think this does connect really well with your reading. The white light energy, although it's coming to you through the palm of a hand, and again that's quite symbolic of the whole Christ on the cross feeling. So there's a lot of spiritual essence in this reading for you, like spiritual protection one way or another. I think if you call upon Gabriel's energies for April at any time that you are feeling stressed or uncertain, you will find a positivity and maybe a feeling of as if there's someone there supporting you, a little bit like that Capricorn king at the beginning of your reading. That's a bit funny as well, because if you think of it, supposedly Jesus or Christ was a Capricorn and he was a king.